Maybe I'll take my pants off, throw a Gardner Minshew jersey on. I don't know. I'm feeling it tonight. I'm not even having a single drop of alcohol, and I'm ready to get naked.
You're listening to Let's Talk Fantasy Football, where men of fantasy genius have realized, hey guys, we don't need real football skills to dominate on the fantasy field. Yeah. So slap on your pads and grab your helmet. Shit's about to get real.
Welcome back to another edition of Let's Talk Fantasy Football. Oh no, you're not listening to last week's podcast. You are, yet again, listening to the D.O.N. be the host. 2 weeks in a row of LTFF. If one wasn't good enough for you, two definitely isn't. I am here with Vinny as he sits there and drinks my beers that I left at his place. So you are not only dealing with me as a host again, but you're stuck with another Voncast. So that means the D.O.N. is here with Vinny Gonzalez. Vinny, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. When we found out we were doing a Voncast back-to-back, like, my stomach dropped. Like, I walked into a class, like, and I found out we were having, like, the final exam that day for some reason. I was just like, oh, shit. We got to do another one of these. But
we weren't even prepared for the last one. Now we got this one.
Well, happy to be here, though, and your beer is delicious.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. That's why I left it there. Dude, week 2 already done.
I know.
It's already flying by. And it's been a week 2 is as bad as this year of 2020 really has been.
Dude, people dropping like flies. The 1 o'clock death trap.
It's like very, very upsetting.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of injuries. We're not going to run through a whole list. We're going to go through the first half of games coming up this week, including the Thursday night football. But yeah, man, riddled with massive injuries. I mean, just crazy stuff. Did you see that MetLife Stadium? They're under investigation for the turf because of how many injuries to the 49ers players that the NFL is actually investigating the turf at MetLife Stadium.
Jesus Christ. I did not know that.
Who would have thought? But year 2020, that's what we do. We're investigating turf because anything happens.
And lucky for the 49ers, they get to go right back to that same field and play the Giants. So
correct.
That's fucking rough.
That's probably another influence to why they wanted that investigated, since they're going to be back on that.
Go play it at like a high school field.
Yeah. Well, might be better off. Who knows?
They could.
There's some nice ones in Rutherford with turf fields. Might be a little less dangerous around here. So. But yeah, that's where we've led off to from week 1 and 2. I hope everyone's doing a little bit better than I'm doing in our main league, going 0-2 and panicking. I'm not worried.
Yeah, just don't panic.
I haven't sound worried, right?
No, not at all.
No. Don't panic and like try to do blockbuster trades or anything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, yeah. So that's the plan. Don't panic, right? It's week 2, a lot of injuries, which means there's a lot of waiver to be played, which we'll kind of go over in a little bit. But
very, very long season. Like, our teams already don't look like what we drafted, so it's something you got to stick through. Bye weeks are coming up, week 4, and you just got to keep grinding, keep staying hopeful, and I would say you don't have to panic yet. I would say week 4, like 0-3 is really bad, and then I think week 4 you should really sell out and like figure something else out. But being 0-2 is definitely not cool. So I understand like the stress to try and do something. I know you are too, but it's also don't be complacent. So it's like I don't know. It's hard to judge, and it goes on a team by team, league to league basis. But you know your situation and how you can handle it, so go from there. Yeah,
I mean, I'm trying to think of the right words because I don't want to say the positive is with all these injuries, right? Because that's not what you ever want to see.
There's an
opportunity, but it balances out your opportunity with everybody else because everyone's almost in the same boat because of the amount of injuries and how impactful it's been to such fantasy relevant players that you're definitely not the only one in your league in the same position that has an issue that you have with injuries right now.
Yeah, I would say a lot of people didn't leave week 2 unscathed, and like few and far between. So I think, like you said, everyone they're on a level playing field, if that makes sense.
Waiver wire, man. That's what you really got to study and hit the waiver wire. So we're gonna try to help to give you guys better advice. Can't promise everything that comes out of our mouth, but we look into things, we try our best, and we have fun doing it. So talking about fun, nothing makes me think of more fun than if I'm going to jag off watching Fitzmagic sling the ball. We got the Jaguars versus the Dolphins at the Jaguars. Jaguars with -3 and an over-under of 48. Two cool quarterbacks going against each other. Gardner Minshew against Fitzmagic. It's going to be a fun time, man. I mean, Jaguars looking way better than you would have thought early on in the season. And Dolphins are Dolphins, but, I mean, still things happen. So, and it's Fitzmagic, baby.
Yeah, Dolphins hanging every game, and the Jags, outside of a bad call, should probably be like 2-0 right now. So I definitely thought the Jags were just going to tank, and they have come out and looked pretty good. Minshew looks awesome. Going to stop disrespecting him a lot. I just keep thinking he's not that good, and he's just destroying. So
I mean, that was one of our conversations on the last podcast last week.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, what week do we stop? Well, I like Minshew. You've doubted him a little bit, right? What week do we start saying he's a starter every week? I say he's a starter every week.
Yeah, and I think it's going to continue against the Dolphins here because Byron Jones is out for them. They've also given up a ton of passing yards. So I think that it's a great spot play for Minshew. Or if he's just your guy at this point, he's your guy at this point. I cannot poke any holes in that any longer. And he's doing it with guys who are, below superstar level with like Chark and Shoutout. So
and Keelan Cole.
Keelan Cole and Tyler Eifert's been getting out there too. So they're just
how much do you love that?
I did love that a lot. It was good to see him catch a touchdown, but they're a scrappy bunch. They're not like that upper echelon of talent, but they're still very scrappy.
You always know what conversation you're about to lead into when you get a text from Vinny saying, Eifert, baby.
Dude, it was sick.
No, it's always good to support the players that have been on your team for a while, and it's good to see him healthy for now. But, yeah, man, cool things coming out of the Jaguars that a lot of people weren't expecting. Speaking of waiver wire, DJ Chark came to be obviously someone that was drafted, I'm sure, in at least 97% at least. I don't see how he – or more. I don't know. See how he wouldn't be. But the cool thing is Keelan Cole is back to being relevant another season. I think someone that everyone kind of forgot about. So Keelan Cole should still be on your waiver wire, and I think is a must-add. He's had I think he had 8 targets this past week, and the week before, I mean, he was probably in the same – I don't have his exact target amount, but I know it's been at least 6 to 8 both weeks. So he's been like the number one guy for Gardner Minshew to look at, even though DJ Chark is the big play guy, already injury-riddled a little bit, and it seems that the consistency really is going to Keelan Cole as that receiver with the most consistent targets.
Yeah, and then if you're looking for like a home run play, I think you could play Laviska Shenault. He's probably more likely on the waiver wire than Keelan Cole, and I think he's still equally as good of a play, especially with Chark banged up going into the matchup. Right now he's questionable with that chest and back, so I do think that really all 3 of them are viable plays. If Chark goes, he's my favorite. Next favorite for me is probably Shenault.
Sure, that's fine. I actually like Keelan Cole a little bit better. But I think you're right. The big play guy is going to be Shoutout. I mean, he even gets to carry the ball quite a few times. So he seems to be like the guy that would get that explosive play and kind of hit a home run for you. I think that if you're in a PPR league, full point and even half point, I mean, Cole last week caught 6 of his 7 targets. Now it was off of 58 yards, but again with a touchdown and six receptions. I mean, that's if you're looking for a solid wide receiver 3 flex or a low-end wide receiver 2, if he's going to put up numbers like that every week for the most part, minus like a touchdown, that's someone that's going to provide you a steady floor, maybe not the best ceiling like you said with Shenault, but I think he's the more consistent play.
Yeah. Good point, Don.
So I like Keelan Cole.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really pick it apart much better than that. Another dude has been lighting it up for them, dude. James Robinson. Illinois State. Fucking insane. I can't believe the production he's getting out of, like, this Jaguars offense that has not really been able to put it together with, like, I mean, outside of, like, blow-up Leonard Fournette games from, like, the last couple of years, it's just been a mess. And this is just ripping it up as a rookie, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, we saw our guy TJ Casey, TJ Yeldon, who we had high hopes for, had a somewhat promising rookie year, but then completely the next season just failed.
Yeah.
And then we thought maybe it was just a Fournette thing, but yeah, that is promising, especially with the whole running back debacle there. What do you think, dude? Do you think that's going forward that he's the guy?
Yeah, 100%. They've showed nothing other than get this guy the ball. He's complete lion's share. So I'm rolling him out there. I think week in, week out.
Cool. Chris Thompson. So Chris Thompson had a touchdown last week. I'm someone that actually, before they kind of figured out who the starting running back would be coming into the season with the whole COVID issue and everything else, I was like, well, it might be safe for me to grab Chris Thompson. Then week one kind of sucked. And then this week, if you saw that play with the touchdown, you might be thinking he might be someone to pick up. It's still not very impressive. He did have that touchdown, but if he did not, you're looking at 7 rushing yards, and that's it. And then he had one what did he have? He did catch 3 out of his 4 targets, but it was only for 20 yards and a touchdown. So if you take that touchdown away, you don't have anything.
It's low volume, very minimal upside for Chris Thompson. So until anything happens to James Robinson, he's the only dude I'm playing. That's
fair. So what about Tyler Eifert, man? Do you think you saw enough to spin the wheel on him, or you think he can sit and rest and you need to wait to see more from him?
I'd like to see more. I feel like there's other guys like Schultz you can get off the waiver wire this week, who's definitely a better ad.
Jonnu Smith,
big time. We'll talk about him later. And yeah, I just feel like there's better plays right now. If he starts consistently, going over like that 6 to we'll set 6 as the target mark for him, like per week. Then he becomes like a play. It's just Minshew spreads it out so much. And
he's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that I have a Minshew jersey. I should be rocking that right
You
now.
Actually should.
I really should be. During the break, I'm going to go throw the Minshew jersey on and rock that real hard. I actually might bring like a handlebar mustache this weekend for Minshew, and I'm going to rock that jersey and no pants the whole weekend.
You got to do it tomorrow, man. The game.
Oh, for sure tomorrow, but I mean like the weekend too. I'm going out partying hard, no pants, just for Minshew, handlebar mustache.
Man, I love that.
So we hit the Jag side. So obviously a lot of good things that we've taken away from the Jags. So we obviously DJ Shark still we believe is the number one, even with the he is questionable and he's still a little battered up, but who isn't at this point already? We've already had our discussion on the 2 other wide receivers, and do not pick up Chris Thompson. That's not how we feel. So let's go over to the Dolphins side, starting with Fitz Magic, and kind of work our way down, man. What do you think?
I would not play Fitz, but like he'll keep it close. Like that's just about it. You're just really rolling the dice with Fitzpatrick more so than like there's just a huge quarterback pool. You don't have to be playing him, especially on a Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, so you're going to see like last week, right? He threw over 300 yards. He had his 2 passing touchdowns. You see this from Fitzpatrick for how many seasons now, even as a fantasy owner, between the Jets and the Bills and the Dolphins and Tampa Bay, where there are like you see him go off and you're like, oh man, this is my time to play Fitz, and then the next game, he's just the inconsistency with Fitz. He falls apart. He just can't ever keep his streak going. So Fitz might be someone to look down the line when, if you're streaming quarterbacks, if your quarterback is hurt or you don't like the production, like hence like I have Drew Brees, not really caring for his production right now, especially with Michael Thomas being down. So down along the season, if you still are not loving whatever your quarterback play is, I could see Fitz being a plug and play, especially during matchups. But right now, he's still not someone like you said that with the pool that's still available that you don't need to go and play Fitz against the Jags.
Yeah, there's little to no reason to play him right now.
0 to none. I agree, dude. With that being said, what do you want to hit first? You want to hit wide receivers or do you want to hit running backs first with these guys?
I think running backs are easy. I don't really want to touch any of them, and it seems like Myles Gaskin is like leading the way. For some reason, he's getting the most yardage out of his opportunities. Howard is doing nothing. Breda, nothing.
No, it literally is Miles. So it's literally Miles.
He looks good, but like that's not really saying much when you don't get that much opportunity as it is. So he's a good add just for some depth, especially with running back so banged up already. But that's about it. I would not play him this week.
Yeah, dude. So it's funny because in the first league that I drafted in one of my other big leagues, 12-team league, I went wide receiver heavy first. I didn't do many mock drafts, didn't do as much studying as I wanted to. And then I went into panic and I was like, oh, dude, I'm in a 12-team league. My running backs are Jonathan Taylor and Devin Singletary. Jonathan Taylor is a big question mark. And so is Devin Singletary, especially with the fumbling issues. And I was like, I need to like hop on running backs right now. So I literally picked up both Jordan Howard and Matt Breida. I'm like, if I need to, I'm going to just let them sit on the bench and just see who has a little bit more production, and I'll go from there. I literally watched them both do nothing on the bench. And then I'm seeing that Myles Gaskin. I mean, it's still nothing like extraordinary, but he's obviously the one that's clearly putting the most production out of them. So you guys, bottom line, I dropped both Jordan Howard and Matt Breida. I figured that fight wasn't anything fun to watch anymore. So, what are those like little Japanese fighting fish?
I think they're literally called that.
Are they?
Yeah, I think just Japanese fighting fish.
But you got to like keep them in their little things alone, like their little.
They can't be put together, or they'll kill each other. Not
the case with Jordan Howard and Matt Breida. If you put them both in,
they fall asleep and just rise to the top dead.
Yeah. It flush them both down the toilet.
I like that.
Yeah. So, all right, man. That sums up the running back.
Yeah, just a bunch of dead fish.
The running backs from Miami. Cool, dude. Let's talk about my beloved Devontae Parker. He's been battered up a little bit too, but he ended up having a little bit more of a productive game than I think most people thought he was going to have last week. I feel like he was taken out of a lot of lineups last week.
Yeah, just going in injured, and Devontae Parker with his little history was, it's not good to see. And then it was probably easy for people to be like, all right, I'll just bench him. He's not, a little bit of a tough matchup. But he put it together, and then I think you can roll him out right now because it's like bottom line, Dolphins are probably going to have to catch up in this game at some point.
Yeah.
Parker and Preston Williams, for that matter, will probably both see somewhere 8+ targets each.
Yeah.
Preston Williams hasn't been able to put it together yet, only been 2 weeks, but I feel like that happened last year as well. It's just like the game is coming. It's just I feel like it's going to happen closer to bye weeks. I really wouldn't do it now with your full arsenal and you're not really – unless you're like really banged up. But I think both – I would play Parker. Preston, I'm not too sure.
I don't hate Preston. You got to remember, too, they played against New England and Buffalo. And I believe he was lined up against both Tre'Davious White and Gilmore, Stephon Gilmore. I believe that he was lined up against both of them, correct? I think they were covering.
White definitely moved around more, but I think he was on Gilmore for most of that first game.
I think that also has to do with it. Those are obviously two Pro Bowl cornerbacks. They're Stephon Gilmore, Defensive Player of the Year. So I like Preston Williams against the Jaguars. I think you're going to see a lot more target share. Especially
you calling the blow-up game?
Yeah, let's call the fucking blow-up game. Fuck it. Right. That's what we're on here for, right?
Don's fucking calling it.
How much? I should put like $500 up this. Like second quarter, Preston Williams has 3 touchdowns.
Okay, that's good.
I think the odds on that.
Yeah, I think you could throw 5 on that and you'd win $1 million.
I'm doing it.
But yeah, they're definitely both going to see a ton of targets. I'm more inclined for Parker, you for Preston. Mike Gesicki, dude. I think he's just legitimately good.
He's legitimately good.
Yeah, he's like a monster. Also, the touchdown he caught last week was on Tre'Davious White. So that was some real shit, and his getting the volume had a rough week 1 go, but obviously playing a tougher defense. But yeah, it's been great to see, and I think he's going to have another huge week because Jaguars just got smacked in the face by Jonnu Smith last week. So I feel like the matchup is just really good.
Yeah, I really do agree, dude. I think that Mike Gesicki is a week in, week out starter. I think he was someone that was like on that cusp. I think he was. I don't want I don't know what the exact ranking was, but I think he was like in that like floating between the 12 and 14 range of
I was gonna say somewhere
tight ends,
like 11,
right? Like right out of the top 10, which was like
drafted, yeah,
right, but like had a lot of potential and for good reason. And I think he's going to be potentially a top 5 tight end by the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely been putting it together so far. I almost gave up on him after a week. I was like, I'm just going to drop him. And then luckily just stuck it out for a little bit.
You have him in our league?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Good for you, man.
You want him, dude?
Nah. You want to trade?
I have Logan Thomas on the bench, man. You can have my bench players, not my good players.
Oh, yeah. We don't put the good players on the block. Right?
That's right. You know the rules, dude.
Yeah. You give me your good players, and I'll keep my good players. Makes sense.
Absolutely.
I think that covers that matchup, dude.
Yeah, that was way more in depth than I thought we'd go. That was pretty good, though.
Dude. I'm excited. This is gonna be another good Thursday night game. Like the Bengals Browns was a good Thursday night game that no one thought would be like that great. Like I think this is gonna be a really good game. I'm excited to be pantsless, wearing my Gardner Minshew. I haven't packed a lip in I don't even know how many years. I'm gonna throw such a fat horseshoe in. I'm gonna drink my Crown straight. And I'm going to rock a handlebar mustache.
I'm going to do none of those things, but I'm going to enjoy betting the over and watching this game.
Wow, I like that a lot. Throwing 500 on that, too. Going to win a lot of money tomorrow.
Yeah, whenever we say we're betting on something, it's always $500 a unit.
If you're Walsh.
Mr. Moneybags.
Yeah. If you should listen to anybody, just listen to Walsh.
Yeah.
All right, dude. So, who do you got?
I'm gonna take the Jags.
Yeah, dude. I want to jag off real hard right now. Yeah. So,
Dolphins keep it close, but Jags for sure.
Cool game to watch. I think a lot of fun and a lot of. If you have guys on this team, they're definitely the ones that we said start them. I think that this is the game that they're gonna have a lot of targets. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's gonna be a little bit of a shootout between the two. With that being said, let's move on to potentially another high-scoring game.
Potentially.
47.5. Falcons at the Falcons, -3.5 against the Bears. Let's start with the visitors. Let's go Chicago side first. Mitch Trubisky.
2-0.
2-0. Fluke?
Yeah.
Fluke.
Yeah, I'm thinking fluke. They played the Lions and Giants. If the Falcons weren't so mentally destroyed from, I think, everything that's happened to them for like the past 5 years, I would say they smashed the Bears, but I don't know if they have the fortitude to do that.
Excuse me. I think I just burped. I don't know if that was loud or not.
I feel like I could smell it.
I haven't even drank yet. I'm just drinking water. I didn't mean to ruin that Mitch Trubisky analysis.
That was more of a Falcons thing, but.
Yeah. I was burping. I didn't hear all that.
You just blacked out?
A little bit. Yeah, well, what I could tell you is that Mitch Trubisky had 13 fantasy points against the New York Giants. Although Atlanta isn't a terrible – if you were to play Mitch Trubisky, I guess going against Atlanta would be the time, but there's no need to play Mitch Trubisky at all. With the depth that you have, he would not be my first, second, or third streaming quarterback.
Yeah, this is going to be strange because the Bears are kind of being smart with not letting Mitch fully be, like, released because – they're just running it a lot more and taking care of the game and salting it away. The problem with that is Falcons' run defense is pretty good, and I think that's going to be a problem. So I think Mitch is going to have to throw to win this game, and I don't think that he can. Like, he'll put up maybe 2 touchdowns, but I don't think it's going to be enough to win, and I don't really think that makes him really a playable asset like whatsoever.
Yeah. What do you think, like 190 yards and 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, and like 2 picks. So
yeah, it's not
a standard 13 from him.
Yeah, that's cool. I agree. Mitch is Mitch, so he might have a good game because it is Atlanta, but overall, it's still not a good game for us to play him. So we already started talking about the running backs. Let's go with David Montgomery first, dude. This is someone that this was the one in the draft that we were talking about in our main league, and I luckily was able to kind of grab him.
I couldn't fucking believe
in a lot of leagues.
Could not believe that.
quick context to the story in our main league with, everybody from LTFF and all of our really close friends from high school, super competitive. Me, Vinny, and Matt were all sitting next to each other and we were all thinking the same thing at the same time. Like, how is this still happening? And we weren't saying anything. And I was like, dude, don't even worry because I'm snagging him if he comes to me, so you guys don't have to worry about that. So David Montgomery slid, which was great for those who have him. I mean, he had a good showing for the most part for game one, nothing crazy fantasy-wise, but you saw that there was good production. And then last week blew up against – it was the Giants, but 82 rushing yards, 45 receiving yards. So he is catching a few targets here and there. I mean, it was 3, but he still was very productive on it with 45 yards and a touchdown. So he had a great game, dude. But you did say that Atlanta's defense is pretty tough on the against the run. What do you think, man? Is David Montgomery someone that you would be willing to put in as a RB2 or flex?
For sure, RB2. Just off volume, man. Volume alone. He's straight up their bell cow. Tariq Cohen seeing a massive reduction in work, which I don't get. They gave him that new deal and everything. It just seems like they're rotating in Cohen and Patterson way more than I thought. I thought Cohen would be a lot more involved, but Montgomery is just straight up bell cow. So I think he's very close to low RB1, 100% a high RB2. You play him every single week. You want to give away one of your best players? You want to trade? No, I don't.
He's like my 3rd or 4th running back, dude.
You'd give him up to me for what?
Well, not one of your best players, but somebody you'd be willing to trade me.
Sweet. I'll give you Corey Davis.
Perfect, dude. That's exactly what I wanted. I'll play Corey Davis and A.J. Brown at the same time when he comes back. I'll see who does more. Kind of like the Matt Breida, Jordan Howard. We'll see which fish wins.
Yeah.
So, cool. So do we need to talk about more about Tariq Cohen?
Nah, I think you just don't play him.
Okay, cool. We talked a little about the wide receivers last week too. Let's get to it, man. Allen Robinson, obviously that primary receiver. Are we liking Allen Robinson this week?
Yeah, I mean, you got him at the matchup. Hopefully he snags one of those 2 touchdowns we were talking about finally. Yeah. But I guess I'm a little worried season long just because they do not seem to have a connection anymore or want to pepper him with targets for that matter. So definitely I think his stock is going down, but this is definitely not a week to, get sheepish on him. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Maybe I think it's like you said, the connection. But I don't know if it's Mitch Trubisky that shied me away, but when I didn't draft Allen Robinson in any league. I want to talk about someone that it was almost like a turnoff every time I saw him. If this is where I was going to draft and he was the first one available, I was skipping him every single time.
You never feel good about drafting him at all. It's just, again, he's very much a volume play. And now it seems like that's kind of going the other direction.
Yeah. If it was Jacksonville, if you're still there, different story.
Right. Greatest of all time. Unfortunately,
yeah. So, where do you see him? Do you see him as a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, flex? What are we looking at for Allen Robinson?
Low 2 for now. I think it's too early, but he's like I said, stock is definitely going down.
Agreed. And then with that being said, normally Anthony Miller would be the second wide receiver, but I think that he actually is behind Darnell Mooney in production so far. Within the last 2 weeks. I don't think that's something that continues. I think that just kind of got lucky with Mooney catching a touchdown last week.
Yeah.
Because, he hasn't even eclipsed 40 yards in a game. So is there any value for Anthony Miller? Or right now he's just someone that you just –
It's great for depth, and I think that's it for now. But, yeah, it's just tough to roll him out. If I don't even want to play –
he had no points last week.
Yeah, if I don't even want to play Allen Robinson in this offense, what makes you think I want to play Anthony Miller or anybody else for that matter?
Yeah.
That's how much the passing game has taken a hit. So unless they really cut it loose against this bad Falcons defense, it's going to be tough judging forward when to play any of these guys because they're just kind of putting the cuffs on Mitch.
This makes me want to play Montgomery even more.
Yeah, like I said, dude, he's going to get 20, 25 carries this game straight up. It might not be that productive, but he's going to get that work every week.
They were doing like reading into this more, Chicago mainly did only 2 wide receiver formations.
Dude, they run the ball the whole fucking game.
Yeah. I'm starting to like David Montgomery anymore. I'm not going to trade you anymore, Ben, unless you want Nyheim Hines.
Since you already sent it over, I accepted it, and we went through. So
perfect. So what we take from this is Allen Robinson's still a start as of now, but your expectations should be tempered, as well as David Montgomery's a start. But other than that, there's really no one on the Bears that we want to touch. Is that correct?
Correct.
Cool, man. Well, let's do this. Why don't we go to the Falcon side, because I think there's a little bit more to talk about, and then we'll go from there, man. Matty Ice, a potent offense as per usual. Matty Ice is someone that should be started pretty much every week as of now, correct?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're just putting up a lot of points. Their defense just gives up a lot, so it's just Matty Ice running back out there to sling more pig at all times. Julio.
A little banged up.
Practice with a hammy.
A little banged up. Yeah, I think he re-aggravated it or picked it up in the Cowboys game. So he dropped very uncharacteristically dropped a touchdown from Russell Gage, which was pretty wild, but Mohamed Sanu light. But yeah, it's a little concerning. I mean, it's Julio, so he can not practice all week and be a go, and you're playing him regardless. So yeah. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just, I guess, have a backup plan in case in the unlikely event he doesn't go. But I think he's one of those guys that always plays.
Yeah, dude. We're not going to even talk about Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley's like the number 1 receiver right now in fantasy.
Yeah, I was so wrong on that. I thought it was going to be way more Julio, and it just seems like Ridley's taking the fuck over.
Yeah, just more like Calvin Ridley's going to get more touchdowns, but it's going to be Julio being like that workhorse wide receiver. Julio actually is the 3rd wide receiver in fantasy production so far in 2 weeks with the Atlanta wide receivers.
Oh yeah, those yardage games just keep him afloat, man. That's Julio's bag.
But that's what it's gonna and that's what it's gonna be for some time is because they're just gonna be airing it out quite a bit. Gage again with 9 targets, caught 6 of them.
We called.
Now, what I will say is it was only 46 yards out of those 6 catches.
It's all good.
But what saved him this week was the touchdown. What do you think about Gage? Do you think he's someone that you need to put into the lineup, or are you still waiting to see a little bit more of that this is going to be a consistent matter and not maybe just a lucky week 2 that was, combined with a strong week 1 performance?
I just think that both those games they're playing from behind. Oh, not behind, but first one they played from behind. Russell Gage had a great game. This one was they just destroyed Cowboys early. Had a good game. So I think in a matchup where it's going to be a little tougher with the Bears defense, I'm less inclined to play him.
Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, I think if he's already off the waiver wire, I'm sure, for most. If he's not, please grab him. I'm excited to see this. I think Atlanta's going to be playing a lot like this all year. Their defense is bad. Their coach is bad. So Matt Ryan is going to be out there a lot, slinging to already 3 very solid receivers. Well, we knew that about Julio and Calvin, and Gage seems to be fitting that 3rd receiver role really, really well. Another person we talked about last week, and we've had some high expectations for, Hayden Hurst, who put it together a better week 2 than week 1. Hayden Hurst, I think, is someone that if you did draft him, you can definitely still start him. It was nice to see that he got in the end zone. But he's still not getting anywhere near the targets that the rest of the receivers are what Matt Ryan's going to hit first with these 3 guys. So if there's like a Jonnu Smith, that again, we're going to talk about him in a little bit out there and a few of the other tight ends that we had talked about. If you want to pick him up, go ahead. But again, if you had Hayden Hurst, I still think that he still should be started in most leagues.
Yeah, I mean, Hurst didn't do too bad in the target area, actually. Last game he had 8. The big thing was on the his big play was 42-yard touchdown pass.
Right.
So that was a big chunk. But still, 8 targets is very nice. I think, Hurst should just keep rocking going forward. The offense is too good to not have, that tight end piece in your lineup.
Fair. Todd Gurley. Almost forgot about him. Toddy Gurley.
Kind of pedestrian, man.
Yeah. I still think he's someone that if he's your second running back, I think he's still the guy that you keep out of. And now, again, it is going against Chicago Bears, so it's going to be a little tougher. But, I mean, he had 21 carries.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, he got the volume, and they weren't able to put
productive.
Yeah, man, just getting 61 yards off of it.
Yeah, but if they're on the goal line and he gets to punch it in,
it's probably going to be Gurley, yeah.
And it's going to be another 12-point game, which is going to get you that, mid-level to low-end running back too, or flex. If you're looking for someone that's got a steady floor, I don't think that Todd Gurley is the worst play.
Yeah. I mean, like, worst case, he does this, and, like, their offense is so good they go up and down the field, and the opportunity is always there. So that's definitely not the worst thing in the world, especially with all the shit that went down week 2.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Todd Gurley's not going to be the Todd Gurley that you had like the first few seasons with the Rams, but I think he's someone that has a steady floor. So if you need someone that you need to count on with a steady floor, that's going to be Todd Gurley. So most people did draft him later than normal in the previous year, so you probably knew that kind of already and had that expectation, but he still is, I think, a relatively solid RB2 or flex play. With that being said, dude, there's no one else we need to talk about on this one either, correct?
No way.
Awesome, man. I'm glad we're on the same page. Vinny, take it away. Who do you have on this game?
I'm going to take the Falcons here. I don't think the Bears are good. I don't think the Falcons are good either. I just think they're a little better than the Bears.
It pains me, but I'm going to take the Bears.
Okay.
Rams at Bills. Dude, I'm excited about this game too.
This game is fucking sweet. I think this is going to be great.
Bill's the favorite.
That was surprising. Rams 2 weeks in a row, dogs.
They're disrespecting the Rams.
A little bit, yeah.
Listen, Bills are good.
Yeah, don't disrespect the Bills. I think last week was more of a disrespect kind of thing.
That was disrespectful.
Yeah, that line made my brain break because I was just like, it's a trap. And I shouldn't have done that.
You should have bet. I hit all 4 of my bets.
I did. I had bet them earlier in the week, but then as the week went on, I was like, fuck. I fell for the trap. But it was fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I'm now my brain is my gambler brain is just like all like, stop podcasting. Let's get on this instead of betting.
Drop another 100.
Let's get into it. But this is a very exciting game. A lot of players that a lot of people should have too. Let's go to the Rams first because we do have some injury news-ish on this side, especially with the running backs. Malcolm Brown and Cam Akers, we don't even know if they're playing this week. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think Malcolm Brown is more likely. He had surgery on his pinky. I think he could tough that one out. Cam Akers, it's broken cartilage in his rib, so I think that might take more time. Mm-hmm. So I think if anyone's going to miss out of those two, I think it's Cam Akers and then Darrell Henderson, dude. He just looked fucking awesome, dude. He got the full bulk after like they both went down and just looked awesome. I mean, Eagles' run D is not fantastic, but if you
still looked really good.
Shred them like that, that's all you. And he looked awesome. So if anyone took him last week or picked him up this week, way to fucking go. I think he's automatic plug and play, regardless if Malcolm Brown is active or not. I think they got to give the reins, I think, over to Henderson now.
Going forward after this week as well, or you think what do you think for the future with this? Because, I mean, I'm assuming all 3 of these guys are owned at this point. That's a lot. That's a lot of mouths to feed once they're all healthy.
Well, I truly think it's going to be on week-to-week basis. Like, Malcolm Brown was the dude week 1. Didn't falter with his opportunities, whatever. Darrell Henderson stepped up, didn't falter either, took total advantage, those 2 going out. So I think it's going to be kind of a hot hand deal, which totally sucks, but I think right now they ride Henderson and just get Malcolm Brown in like the kind of maybe I don't know. Do you think it's going to be more of a split or they just give it to Henderson for this game?
I don't know, dude. This is the one thing about fantasy football that my brain couldn't wrap around. Now, if you haven't listened to our podcast before, I probably tell everybody once a year that I was in remedial courses in college. So there's like a point where I understand things, and then it's like a wall that just like I can't get around it. One of them is being like a 3 running back crew. Like I don't ever want to touch it. Like I won't, if I'm drafting, I won't go near it because I mismanage it worse than Adam Gase has ever managed any of his teams. I don't understand it. I don't like it. No one likes me if I do it. It's all bad. So I don't know, dude. All I could tell you is that it's giving me anxiety just looking at these 3 running backs on my sheet right now. I can't even imagine being an owner of one of the 3, especially once they're all healthy. Does that help anybody? No. I gave you no good advice.
But I don't think there is really good advice. I think
you just got to see it out at this point.
It's week to week. Now there's injuries involved, and what can we fucking tell you that?
Yeah, if you're Darrell Henderson, like you play him, and then you kind of go forward with what's the matchup, who's healthy, and you kind of go from there. If Darrell Henderson's still the only one healthy and it's a good matchup, you throw him back in there. But you just don't know what the season long is going to be. That's the fickle bitch about season long fantasy.
Yeah, you're projecting your anxiety onto me, dude. I'm having like.
Am I stressing you out?
Yeah, I'm like sweating now.
Dude, my leg is shaking.
Let's go to the fucking.
I'm getting bad vibes here. Let's go to wide receivers. A little more clear cut here. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. We play them. We don't not play them.
We don't not play them. We play them every week. I do want to talk about Tyler Higbee.
Well, what do you need to talk about him about? He's awesome. He had a great game. He's played every week. Tight end.
I think that early on in the season or, off season, it was like Gerald Everett or Tyler Higbee. And I think that it's very clearly emerging just to be Higbee.
Oh, yeah, dude. Higbee had a huge game for himself, but also for everybody that owns him. And that's who he's really playing for is you guys. So it was really relieving to see if you were someone that pulled on Higbee to see that really pay off for you, especially in week 2. Yeah, he's gonna be a stud all year. I think the Rams, although I don't think they're back like they were 2 seasons ago, I think there's a lot of excitement. They're better than what they are projected to be still. So take opportunity to bet on them during these times. And yeah, Higbee's awesome, man. They're very cool to have. So I think this year is cool to see for the tight end because normally a lot of us talk about how we hate the tight end position. Tight end position sucks. There's only 3, but this year has been a lot of good tight ends. There's a deeper pool for the first time in a long time.
It's okay.
Look at your boy Sample with the Bengals.
We'll get to Drew Sample.
Right.
All right, it's deeper. I don't know. No, that's the problem, though. It's always deep. There's always
but a lot of inconsistency on who you play. A lot of these guys are getting a lot more looks than you saw in the previous years. I guess. The only one I want to talk about, too, just because it's a name to throw out there and it's someone different than the normal starters that we've already gone on with our matchups, is Josh Reynolds. Last year, because Cooper Kupp had
he had a couple games
torn his ACL, where Josh Reynolds was like the person to talk about. He was going to be the next guy, and then he filled it in. Josh Reynolds, if anybody had any hopes for him this year, it's over, man. It's Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Tyler Higbee for that receiving core, and then good luck for the 3-headed monster that you're dealing with the running backs down there. So. We didn't talk about Jared Goff, though. Jared Goff, obviously, we got a lot of receivers here. Is Jared Goff someone that you'd be playing at this point?
I do. It's tough. It's really tough. I really want to. I like Jared Goff, but yeah, why the fuck not? I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, so I think Jared Goff is playable here.
He had week 1 against Dallas. He almost had 300 yards passing. He just didn't have any passing touchdowns, which really killed him.
They ran on them pretty hard. Not to say that they didn't last week either, but
yeah. But then he passed for a little bit less, but had 3 touchdowns and had a really good fantasy week. So I think that Jared Goff is going to be someone that you are going to be able to start streaming soon, and then maybe you eventually be a starter going for fantasy going forward, because I think he's really starting to connect with Higbee a lot, which is going to be really good for him. Going to be a consistent player. And then obviously with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods doing what they do with those three guys, it's going to really bump up his value quite a bit.
Yeah, you're just really banking on efficiency, and I think you can wait a little bit for someone that's going to get more volume or something like that, as opposed to just for like, it's kind of like the Ryan Tannehill situation. He's really efficient, but he just doesn't throw it enough. Yeah. So once you're banking on that, you kind of limit your opportunity and upside. So I think there are better plays and better matchups. And I just think, like you said, I think you look out for when to play Jared Goff at like a more opportune time. I don't know. This one, I think, just because it's going to be a good game, close or high scoring. So I think you could play him here, but going forward, it's going to be a little spotty.
Let's talk about a quarterback that's a surefire starter, only behind who's I'm already betting to be the MVP of the season of Russell Wilson. Josh Allen has been balling. Now, again, it's not against the two best teams you would ever think of. It's the Jets and Miami. But this guy is balling out. 312 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 57 rushing yards, and a touchdown in week 1. Week 2 against Miami, 417 touchdowns. Wow, that would be a lot. 417 yards, 4 touchdowns, and again, 18 rushing yards. Again, I don't know if those realized, but Josh Allen also is a little bit of a threat in the run game too, which always helps with his points as well. But, dude, 730 yards in 2 weeks passing and almost 100 yards rushing.
He's fucking good.
Yeah.
And also adding Stephon Diggs to your offense will do shit like this. So it's
and John Brown is still playing well too, dude.
Honestly, adding Diggs I thought would probably take away from John Brown. Not really. He has been
because Josh Allen's good.
Yes.
And he's distributing.
Yeah, and John Brown's doing what he does. He gets open deep, has been scoring touchdowns, and I think Diggs is really drawing away attention.
Yeah, dude. Very cool team to watch right now. I'm really excited for this game.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
This should rule a lot.
Now, obviously, temper your expectations quite a bit because now they're playing the toughest team they have in 3 weeks. They walked over, or not walked over, but they beat the Jets. The Jets could possibly be the worst team in the NFL.
They are.
And then Miami's Miami. Tough game, but put 417 yards. Cool. I tempered my expectations on that. I don't know if he'll even throw for 300 yards against the Rams. And that, obviously, with the defensive front that the Rams have, he's obviously going to have a lot more pressure on him. So expectations to be tempered, but that does not mean you do not start Josh Allen.
Play everybody. Yeah.
Play everybody. Steph Diggs,
John Brown, Devin Singletary, Zach Moss. The usual suspects here.
Sure. No one else, right?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Is there anybody else on that team? Nah.
Nope.
Vinny. Rams at Bills. Bills minus 2.5. Who you picking?
I'm taking Rams in the upset that I don't think would entirely be an upset. I feel like this should be a pick 'em.
It should be a pick 'em.
Again, no disrespect to the Bills. I like them a lot.
That'd be really cool if Bills win. I'm going to go with Bills. I really hope they win. That'd be sick. Moving forward to a game that I'm actually not looking too forward to, the Washington football team against the Cleveland Browns. Although that's not true either because you know what? Cleveland came back, unfortunately, beat your Bengals after having a rough outing against Baltimore the week before. And we've been seeing some surprises with the Washington football team as well. They've been playing pretty tough. So they have a win under their belt, right? So,
yeah, they do. They beat the Eagles.
Yeah, week 1 with that big comeback. So maybe this is a game that's going to be a little bit better. Browns are favored with -7, and the over-under is 44.5. I probably will bet the under on that.
I was about to say, yeah, this is probably the only one I'm really liking the under for.
I gotta
just because both D lines are disgusting and both offensive lines are not great at pass protection at all. So I think that's really going to hamper both offenses.
Yeah. I've been pretty demanding, and I've been telling you who to talk about first. Who do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about Washington? You want to talk about Cleveland?
Well, thanks, Don.
What do you want to talk about, Vinny? I want to see what you're feeling. What vibes you got for me?
This is great, man. I'll go with Washington football team. Let's talk about it first.
Let's do it, dude.
Sucks. He is not a good quarterback, but the one thing he does do, I guess, when they let him is throw the fucking ball to Terry McLaurin. That's all you need to do, and that's all you should do on this offense. And Terry McLaurin is probably the only guy you really want to play on this team, like in general. But yeah,
he's just a good football player.
He's fucking good. He's really
just a good football player.
For sure, a baller. But the opportunity on this team is looking a little rough just because Haskins is really not good. Other guy, the only one I'm slightly interested in passing-wise is Logan Thomas. I feel like he's going to put –
You said you own him, so tell us more about Logan Thomas.
Tons of targets, dude. 8 per game so far. It's just he's been doing nothing with them. I think it's going to happen at some point, kind of like the Preston Williams thing. Like, you got to see the opportunity coming, and then eventually, like, if you're rolling Logan Thomas out there week to week, I don't think it's a bad thing just because the target and volume share is there. But other than that, has not been able to totally put it together. So that's the only other dude I'm looking at passing-wise.
That's fair. I don't think there's any more to talk about. I think you've summed it up with Dwayne Haskins sucking, but just Terry just being a baller, man. Terry baller out there just killing the game. Running back-wise, I know you're invested a little bit in the running backs over there. So Antonio Gibson is who you own, correct?
That is correct. And I've played him last week. It was a bad play on my part that worked out. So now I have a lot of false confidence that Antonio Gibson is just going to break away with this. But we did see a lot of J.D. McKissick. Peyton Barber finally just 1 carry or something like that, less than 5.
Peyton Barber, hold on. Talk about someone that's a baller, and then someone that is just bad is Peyton Barber.
Peyton Barber
is bad.
I've never seen someone get so much opportunity and just
suck
so bad.
Yeah,
it made no sense. So McKissick actually does look pretty decent. Obviously, if you're looking to the future, if you're the Washington Reds, almost did it again. Washington football team.
Watch it.
You go with Antonio Gibson. You see what you got in the kid. But I do think it's just going to be a split. Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick probably going forward. Hopefully very minimal Peyton Barber. But that's my trying not to be biased examination of this running back field.
Yeah. Cool, man. I'm done with Washington already.
Yeah, me too. I'm exhausted. I'm like very tired now.
Cool. Let's go to the other side. Let's talk about the Browns. Big comeback week last week. A lot of production. A lot of Odell owners felt very relieved after last week. Baker Mayfield had a better game. Baker Mayfield's still not someone that needs to be talked about being put into any type of starting role or owned. So let's go to the running backs, and let's talk about how good these 2 running backs are.
They're very fucking good.
Now, Nick Chubb is really good. Kareem Hunt is better.
Kareem Hunt is better, but Nick
Chubb will be the starter.
Yeah.
And he's a Pro Bowl running back.
Yeah. Kareem
Hunt is just so efficient with so much less.
We drunkenly talked about how much better Kareem Hunt is, but he just cannot be the full-time starter anymore. No. It's just like –
eventually, we think he will be because they signed him to the extension. And like Nick Chubb's going to be like that rookie year, and they're going to be like, okay, a rookie contract. They're like, hey, we're not going to pay you. We just signed him for cheap because he fucked himself up.
Yep.
So now we got a stud running back for really cheap. Thank you for everything you've done, Nick Chubb. See you later.
Yeah, as the NFL does.
So, and I wouldn't doubt if they're like, hey, let's run Chubb into the ground and keep Kareem a little bit healthier. So once we do have him, he's had a little bit less work on those legs for all the years that we've been running Chubb. So either way, dude, Kareem Hunt does a lot with a lot less, and Nick Chubb does a whole lot with a whole lot.
Yeah, and they're both plays every single week. They're both fucking studs.
Every week, dude. It's awesome. I'm sorry it was against the Bengals. It was really fun. I always like watching, running back is easily my favorite position to watch. That was really fun watching those two. I'm sorry it was against your Bengals. But
I mean, these Bengals have just for the last 5 years have had a very bad rush defense. So if there's anyone who's going to destroy them, it's going to be the tandem of fucking Chubb and Hunt every time.
Yeah, dude. They're both awesome. Great picks for whoever owns Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They're must-starts at all times. We don't need to go any further into that. Wide receiver, Odell Beckham. Didn't put up that poo-poo performance like he did week 1.
I think he goes off again. He's probably going to go off.
I think that was good for the rapport with both Baker and Odell. I think they needed that game.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like it's a very similar, like outside of like they didn't face a full Geno Atkins missed the game, but they're obviously going to face a tougher front against the Washington front. So I think they're going to throw a lot of more, like they're going to have to throw more volume Odell's way to let up that pass rush. So I think that he's going to have more targets, maybe less of a huge like touchdown, like a deep touchdown kind of game like he did against the Bengals, but I think it's going to have at least 8 catches, go over 100, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the even week 1, like the targets were there. It was 10 targets. And I even think last year, like Baker wants to get him the ball, but 1, Baker is not that good. And 2, they just they weren't clicking. And I think it's almost like a basketball analogy. Like when shooters are off, even a free throw will help them get back in their game. So if they get up the free throw, that builds their confidence. I think last week built the confidence for those two. And I think a lot more of those targets are going to be turn into actual receptions as well. Because either way, Baker's going to throw it to him. Because, God, there's probably going to be a lot of times that they're just going to have to air out. But I think a lot more is going to be completed with the Odell-Baker tandem there. So if you're an Odell owner, that was relieving, and I think you can feel pretty relieved for the rest of the season, and Odell will go out there and do his thing. Jarvis Landry, very, very mediocre game, but he was hurt. They were going into the game questionable. I actually benched him with Julian Edelman, dude, which I'm really pumped because he had a great game, dude.
Great move.
So Jarvis Landry was hurt. I'm not concerned, especially if I'm in a PPR league. I still think that he is the number 1 outlet for Baker. Baker likes doing he's that slot receiver that like Baker likes to hit with the dinks and dunks, the shorter routes. Although Odell's going to make the bigger plays, Jarvis Landry will be getting the most target share as well with those shorter routes and will be more consistent on a PPR format. If you're in a standard format, Jarvis Landry's not going to be a starter for the most part, I don't think. But in a PPR format, he is someone that you look to play as a wide receiver too going forward.
Yeah, well put, Don. I have nothing to add to that.
Cool, man. Before I hit Austin Hooper, is there any other receivers you want to talk about? Because we were sitting there calling all the wrong guys, forgetting. I think we called one of them Corey Coleman at one point, dude.
It doesn't help that we were aggressively
Callaway,
drinking, but yeah.
Yeah, dude. All the old what was the other one? Higgins, right? Like we were just going off on it. Like all
Higgins actually was there, but
perfect. I don't even know who's there anymore, dude. So
that was a rough.
All the years we've been talking about like that receiver that I think would go off for the Browns and
very rarely getting it correct.
Cool. So we don't have to talk about any of the other receivers. Austin Hooper, I still don't, especially with what we've been talking about with tight ends with Gesicki's really showing out, and he might, if he's still on the waiver for you guys, he's not for most leagues I'm in, but if he is, that's a great pickup. Jonnu Smith is a great pickup. I don't think Austin Hooper is someone that needs to be played at this point. I don't think he needs to be dropped if he's a second tight end or whatever it may be, but Baker, again, is not that great, and if he's going to pass, it's first going to go to Jarvis and Odell before tight end.
Would you rather play Baker this week, or would you rather play Mitch?
I would rather play. Oh, that's so bad, dude. I don't think anyone should have to be. Someone would have to be in that position.
Right, you shouldn't be. But
I'll play Fitzmagic.
Okay, there we go.
Is that a good way to answer that?
Yeah, man.
I mean, if there's a gun to my head and I only have to pick two, I think I would go with the upside of Mitch, actually, with having to air out against the Falcons. So, but I don't feel good about that in the slightest.
Yeah,
I would just tell the guy, if someone held a gun and put that situation, I'd be like, just fucking kill me, dude. Just do it, dude.
Just fucking kill me.
Just fucking kill me. With that being said, though, dude, I'm going to pick them first before you. I'm going to take the Browns.
I'm going to
bet the under.
I'm going to bet the under, and I might parlay that with the Washington football team spread.
Yeah, I like that. That's why I won't take them with the -7, but straight up I'll take Browns. But I like that, dude. I like that a lot. We're already at break time. Wow. We're going to take a quick break. Maybe I'll take my pants off, throw a Gardner Minshew jersey on. I don't know. I'm feeling it tonight. I'm not even having a single drop of alcohol, and I'm ready to get naked. We will be back in just a few. You know what's cool? Winning is cool. You know what is also cool? Winning bets. And let me tell you, winning season returns at MyBookie. Winning season means doubling your first deposit. Winning season also means insane props, epic bonuses, and the craziest cross-sport wagers. At MyBookie, winning season means watching live sports and betting live sports all season long. Rejoice! The NFL has returned. That means action-packed Sundays and huge cash prizes. Get in on the action and use promo code Let's Talk and double your first deposit. That's right. We're going to hook you up. New players get up to $1,000 in free play, $1,000, designed to add more excitement to the sports you love and the games you bet. Bet with the best this NFL season for your chance to win big. Again, we're going to hook you up, so use promo code Let's Talk and double your first deposit. Your winning season begins today, only at MyBookie. With that being said, Vin, we've already been talking a lot about bets that we're looking forward to doing, especially on MyBookie. So we are on our second half of the podcast. We've already gone way too long on the first part of that podcast. So I decided let's make it longer. So I grabbed beers.
That's right.
And I'm going to drink during the second part of this cast.
It's just, yeah. What else would we be doing, Don, if this didn't go 8 games, 4 hours long?
I don't know of on-cast that's ever gone swimmingly.
Last week was pretty good.
Was it? Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. It's because we're doing it.
But it wasn't good for the soul.
No, it didn't feel right. On Wednesdays we're limited. It's like you can't really get too rambunctious on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
I mean, we have.
Although it's Wednesday now.
That's what I mean. We keep, we got maybe next week we'll do Fridays.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, with that being said, talking about something not going swimmingly, let's talk about the Bengals.
It's fine, Don.
At the Eagles.
They're doing fine.
Eagles favored a -5.5 with an over-under of 46.5. Let's talk about Vinny's Bengals first. More exciting game than we thought last week. Joe Burrow looked good. Bengals defense is just bad.
They're not good.
But there's some takeaways out of it. Vinny, take me away with your Bengals.
Joe Burrow's the real deal. I think
real deal Holyfield.
Yeah, we can see that. AJ Green, man, I don't want to say that he's bad now. I don't even know what to say about him right now.
I think that Walsh said it pretty good last week. Was it Walsh that said it last week?
He doesn't know if it's like rust or if he's washed.
Yeah,
it's giving him a long leash, but I think like week 5 or 6.
Because he's getting a lot of looks, just it's not all connecting. So, yeah, I think AJ Green will be fine. Yeah. I don't think he's washed yet. He's getting the looks. It's just not being all put together. But I have faith in your boy, AJ Green. The target share is comforting. Joe Burrow likes to sling it for sure. AJ Green, he still is that primary target. So I still like it, and I have faith in AJ Green as long as he can stay healthy.
It's funny, too. He Burrow will go to AJ early and often, and then AJ hasn't really been able to deliver. So I think maybe he is just rusty, dude. He hasn't played in a long time.
Yeah.
And they are obviously working on a rapport. So I just think that eventually he will get it going. I really hope so. He's one of my favorite players of all time, but I want to see him go out on a high note. And he's going to be there for the next 4 years, but I'd really like to see him, start clicking.
He's going to be there for the next 4 years?
Yeah, extension.
Isn't he 30, 31 right now?
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Dude, Bengal for life, please.
Yeah, no, listen.
They could trade him. My worst nightmare is he goes to the Patriots and just balls.
That's not the Patriots' move to trade for him, though. They would need to sign him. If he was a free agent right now, different story. He would be 1,000% a Patriot or a Buck right now.
Didn't they give up a second rounder for Mohamed Sanu?
I don't know.
They got desperate, man.
That's really stupid, though.
I think they're desperate now. So I don't know. Come trade time.
Yeah, but the Bengals aren't going to give up a AJ Green for a second rounder.
Hell no.
They're going to want. I would hope not, but who
knows? Truly, I don't know. I would hope.
AJ Green, we think should still be rolled out. We think it's the rust, and we're hoping for more. But I think he will put it together. Joe Burrow slinging, and he looks good, and that's promising for an AJ Green owner as well. Your boy Tyler Boyd.
Right now, he's the number one on this team. Burrow loves the slot. Burrow's going to throw a ton. And just by the way the NFL is right now, it's just more volume is going to be funneled to the slot. Tyler Boyd is good. I think it's tough to say that he's a every week play. I think that he's a low 2.
I would say Tyler Boyd is the definition of a wide receiver 3.
Oh, okay.
So which would be, yes, a low 2, but like he is like the wide receiver 3.
The
like
best one you can have.
Yeah. Like
okay.
I think he is the wide receiver 3, if that makes sense.
Okay. No, yeah, I get that.
Okay. Good. I'm glad it makes sense because if it didn't, it doesn't matter. Before we talk about the tight ends, which is kind of sad but also promising, anything else with the receivers that you want to talk about with your Bengals, or those are the two guys that you should be looking for with Joe Burrow?
Yeah, T. Higgins isn't doing too much. John Ross is not really on the field. Auden Tate, same thing. I thought they'd be like full guns blazing, trying different crazy packages, but really it's just been AJ and Tyler Boyd for the most part.
Yeah. Dude, CJ Uzomah.
Tough, dude.
Had a game.
Yeah, he was great.
Which, by the way, Burrow likes throwing to the tight ends too, because Drew Sample went in and took right over with that.
He caught 7 or 8 passes like in the fourth quarter. It was, or like late third or like into the fourth. But yeah, Drew Sample, next man up. So
and played with next man up mentality too.
He sure did, Don. I think
Burrow fed him the ball.
Yeah, I think you could dip your toes into the Drew Sample pool, but maybe I don't think he's going to be picked up too much this week. If he goes off like multiple catches again versus the Eagles here, I think he'll be added a shit ton next week. So I don't know if you want to anticipate that happening because there are it's tough because there are a decent amount of mouths to feed here in this offense if they really wanted to get it going. But like you said, Drew Sample got a ton of looks. Joe Burrow does love throwing to the tight end so far, and I think it's a preemptive pickup. I don't know if you want to play him this week, but it could be a wait and see. Kind of like the Logan Thomas thing from week 1 to 2.
Yeah, I like it. I think that, like we said earlier, the tight end pool is pretty deep actually, and so there's a few that I would take ahead of him. But I just liked the distribution that Joe Burrow had towards the tight end position. CJ Uzomah had a great game before he got hurt, and Drew Sample still had a great game.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot fed to that tight end position. I think it's smart that you do see if it's actually consistent and it happens next week. He's not my first tight end off, but I think that's a name you really should watch. It was really cool to see. I think the most promising thing about, again, with all these receivers is that Joe Burrow is not afraid to sling. He is a ball player and he's out there doing his thing. So, which is really cool.
Yeah. I think that gives a lot more opportunity for big plays for everybody involved. So it's just he's going to throw a ton and take a bunch of risk. So yeah. It's really looking like a high upside play for most of these guys. Who I am worried about, though, is poor fucking Joe Mixon, dude. Nowhere to run, literally nowhere to hide. The dude is just getting beat up.
The offensive line is bad.
They can't block for Burrow. They can't run block for Joe Mixon. It's painful, tough, dude. And they're not involving him in the passing game, whatsoever. It's really shitty. Bernard's getting a lot more work. He's getting work where it's I think we're talking about this too. It's just go get murdered on this play. We're going to throw it right to you. That's
literally what we talked about. So it hit me while we were watching. I'm like, Gio Bernard has been the Bengals guinea pig for 6 seasons at least, right? So it's all right, this play seems kind of risky. It's probably going to go bad. All right, Gio, get out there. We're going to do it to you. Like, and we've seen Gio in the seasons get mangled. Like, he's had injuries where he's gotten mangled.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, watching that Thursday night, I was like, if there's something they just don't even – they're unsure of, they're like, all right, let's just do something really stupid and we'll just test Gio on this.
It's like, how are you going to run Gio out there for like a 3rd and 16 screenplay to him and not try the same shit with Mixon but on first down and try to catch someone off guards?
Right.
They need to start figuring that shit out before I really like buy into Zach Taylor, I think, as a head coach. But like, fuck, man, you got to stop putting Gio in those spots and like make more opportunity for Mixon. You're still playing Mixon right now. I don't think Gio's not like a pickup or anything. No, It's just wait and see with Mixon, and you just got to keep playing him. You drafted him round 1, keep rolling.
I feel bad for Mixon at a standpoint of production for himself, but I feel bad for Gio physically because that guy just gets
well put on. Yes, it's
bad.
A different kind of sadness for both these guys.
Yeah, for sure. But the cool thing that we can walk away with this, Vinny, is there's a lot of fantasy viable guys on the Bengals team. And to be honest, if they had some sort of an offensive line and some sort of defense,
they'd be competitive.
Yeah. They obviously they were competitive against the Browns, but that's the Browns.
Yeah.
So
they're a fun team right now. They're not.
We're talking about Drew Sample as someone to look out for. So it is cool to see. It's good to see a team that, with not too much looking forward as a team itself, there's still a lot that you could take away and play fantasy wise. So, which is awesome. And Joe Burrow's the man.
Hell yeah.
Cool, man. You ready to go to the other side?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, man. We're going to go to Philly. Philly's been very underwhelming, but they are a favorite against the Bengals, which I think is fair. Carson Wentz. We obviously hit it after week 1, blowing the first game against the Washington football team, being very, very bad. And Carson Wentz doesn't look any better after week 2.
No. Are we getting concerned that he's not good? Or are we like, I'm still kind of holding on, but I'm not ready to say full on that he's bad. But I think he's – I don't know if he's bad, is creeping in.
But he's definitely regressed.
Okay, I like that. Or just like, again, the whole team is injured as fuck. Like, it's also one of those kind of situations. Like
his offensive line is also very, very bad.
Yeah, he's been getting murdered.
He's getting murdered out there.
Yeah. If Geno Atkins comes back, I think they will have a problem with him. I don't know what his situation is right now on that. But, they're just hanging him out to dry.
I will say though, he didn't get sacked by Aaron Donald last week, which is pretty wild.
Dude, they didn't give up a sack.
So we can't even blame that. I'm sitting here saying the offensive line's really bad, but you have to hold the best defensive lineman out there.
He was hurried and hit a ton. They just didn't sack him.
It's better than getting sacked,
I guess. Physically, yes.
Yeah, man. He didn't even throw. He didn't even throw a touchdown pass. He's had 2 interceptions in each game. I guess if you still had Wentz, this would be the game to play him.
Yeah, this could be kind of like Baker's get-right game. It could also be very beneficial for Carson. This is dude, if he sucks against the Bengals,
I think either way, if you're a Carson Wentz owner, it's time to put him to rest.
I'd rather play Minshew. I'd rather play Mitch.
He's lucky that San Francisco's completely battered because the next after Cincinnati was San Francisco, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore. Yikes.
Holy shit, dude. The Eagles could be like 0-6 if they lose here.
Yikes.
Wow.
And they still have to go after their bye in week 9. And they're going against Dallas week 8. Bye week 9.
Oh, please win.
They see Giants, Cleveland, but then they go Seattle, Green Bay, New Orleans, Arizona, Dallas. Dude. They could be a 3-win team.
Oh, I hope the Bengals win this game. They will Philly will implode. They
have a tough schedule on top of them being not healthy right now.
Not healthy, not good. Tough schedule. Bad.
They're not good at all.
Mm-mm.
They're probably going to finish last in their division.
Giants still exist, though.
Fuck the Giants. You're right. The Giants are pretty bad, too.
Hey, Don, are you playing anybody? Are we?
Yeah,
We're still rolling Ertz. We're still rolling.
I'm still rolling Ertz, and I've picked up Goddard. I think that those are the guys that you play. I think that if you're Ertz fan, his targets are still there. So
I like a frisky little Deshaun play too, because Bengals love getting beat, and I think that Deshaun could have a bomb in this game.
This would be the game to do it.
Yeah,
and
so
he also
really
had
hurting,
9 targets last week.
He's the only dude there. Jalen Reagor is now on IR, so he's going to miss 6 to 8 weeks, I believe. IR is a little weird this year, so I'm not entirely sure how many weeks he's out. But, Deshaun, I think, is a really good spot play.
Cool. I'm fine with him being thrown in a deeper league at the flex position. That's cool. But that's it for the receiving squad for sure. Running back, Miles Sanders was back last week.
He was pretty good. I mean, he got a pretty decent, he got a decent workload and was pretty much the best part of their offense. And the Bengals, again, as much as they love getting beat on deep balls, they love giving up chunk plays to running backs. So I think Sanders also has a pretty decent shot to go off here. Yeah,
I think that Sanders is going to be the highlight of their offense this season. So he came in, played well, had almost 100 yards rushing, had 36 yards receiving and a touchdown. If he didn't have a fumble, he would have had a 20-point game in most leagues. So good for him. Good for those that drafted him. He looks good. But that's it. I mean, so we're going to wrap up Philly quick. We're looking at Miles Sanders to start. I'm cool with starting both those tight ends still, and Deshaun Jackson as the flyer play.
Yeah,
I think if you're a Carson Wentz owner, I would really start looking into
Minshew,
picking somebody else up. Yeah. Minshew, Tannehill, someone that's on the wire that's probably going to be more consistent with not as tough of a schedule. Goff, Fitzmagic if you need to.
Oh God, maybe not that.
Sure, man. So, are you going to take your Bengals?
I'm going to keep doing it until they win.
I want the Bengals, so I'm going to go Bengals too.
Thanks, man.
You got it, dude. Titans -3 at Vikings, which I think I'm going to take Titans -3, by the way. Over-under is 49, so they're predicting a high-scoring game. It did come out today. They did leak that A.J. Brown still did not practice. That report came out today, this morning. So I guess that's good for those that either had Corey Davis or picked up Corey Davis. But Ryan Tannehill, dude, he is so if you're a Derrick Henry owner, you're very underwhelmed with his performance because dude Tannehill is throwing touchdowns even like in the red zone. It's not Derrick Henry, it's Jonnu Smith, Corey Davis. He's slinging touchdowns. Ryan Tannehill looks very efficient. Ryan Tannehill is someone to pick up.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. You said it. Efficiency. That's like Tannehill. He's like fucking good. I think Tannehill is really good.
Dude, I rocked Tannehill the second half of all last season.
I mean, he was electric at the end of that season. But,
yeah, but he picked it right back up.
I think we still haven't seen his best games. Like I said, he's just very efficient.
That's what I mean, though. Like he's being efficient. Like he is a fantasy starter.
Yeah, but I'm talking like putting up like 30-point games. He'll start doing that soon too.
Yeah, that's very good. But I'm saying like what he's doing now, like he's a fantasy starter.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I'm agreeing.
I had a half a beer. I'm ready to fight, dude.
You're very defensive because you drafted like 70% of the Titans offense on every league.
No, I drafted A.J. Brown in every league.
Sorry.
But then in our league, yes, I have Derrick Henry too. So I've got the only two unproductive Titans.
Well, I would say I'm not worried about Derrick Henry whatsoever. The dude is still getting like 30 carries a game.
Yeah, he's still getting his.
Derrick Henry
just needs to get in the end zone.
Is like week 6 post. You got to go way beyond week 6, and he just starts trucking and killing people.
Yeah, Tannehill needs to stop being so efficient in the red zone.
Yeah, give him 40 carries instead of 30. I agree, Don. But A.J. Brown, what is your panic time meter?
I'm actually not panicked about A.J. Brown.
I would panic a lot.
You're in panic. He's injured.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah,
and like the undisclosed timetable or undetermined timetable on a knee injury is just like it's very worrisome.
I'm not worried about A.J. Brown yet. I think that he's back by either next week or the following. I think he's going to come right back. With Tannehill being so efficient, A.J. Brown is the best receiver. So when he comes back, he's going to get his share. He even had all those targets in game 1. It was just nothing really came to play out of it. So, A.J. Brown, I'm not panicking just yet.
Okay. I'll keep tabs on that.
Talk to me next week.
Okay.
We go week by week basis on this.
I can tell. I can tell.
But I'm not too worried just yet.
Okay.
John O. Smith, we've said his name a million times.
Top 5 tight end.
If you need a tight end, pick him up.
Yeah, you'd be lucky to have him right now.
Yeah, top 5, dead or alive.
Absolutely.
For sure. Cool, man. Anybody else on Titans you want to talk about?
Nah, we're cool.
Nobody. Vikings, who suck, which is awesome.
They're terrible.
Kirk is bad.
Yeah, I think like this season's been very eye-opening for me as someone who said Kirk is like good and could be good or great. He's garbage.
He cannot handle being in Mike Zimmer's system.
I don't even know. No, he's in Gary Kubiak's system.
With Mike Zimmer.
I mean, Mike Zimmer's the
Mike Zimmer called him, and Mike Zimmer was calling him last year and saying, "Can you handle this?" That's bad, dude. That was actually reported.
I didn't know that. Wow, that's horrible.
That's bad.
Yeah. Well, they're missing Diggs, like plain and simple. They're missing one of the best wide receivers in the league, and Kirk is not. He's below average.
Not good.
He's very below average.
He still likes Adam Thielen.
Even he's killing you some weeks so far.
No, he had a good week 1. Last week was a little bit different, but I'm not worried about Adam Thielen. I think.
Oh, I'm saying he's going to kill you a bunch of weeks. That's what I'm getting at.
Oh, I got it. I thought you meant not be productive for you.
Well, it's a problem. I think this offense is. I think Cook could get right in this game, but outside of that, I think they're just going to want to run against the Titans. They just got ripped apart by Robinson last week on the Jags, so I think they're going to want to just – dude, Dalvin Cook hasn't had 15 carries in a game yet, and that's just because this fucking offense is dog shit. So I think they're going to establish the run. It's the only chance they have. Establish the run early, hopefully get up, and they don't have to start letting Kirk die and throw to Thielen, the only dude they have.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I'm already done talking about the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, we covered it, right? That's it.
There's no one else, dude.
You play
Kirk
Dalvin,
Cousins
you play Thielen.
is terrible, yeah. And then I guess for those Madison owners, I mean, sorry, dudes. I don't know what to tell you right now.
Yeah, I mean, is that even a valuable handcuff at this point? If you don't have –
Not if Cook's not – I mean, listen, I would assume with Dalvin Cook being the talent that he is, he's got to get some sort of uptick in carries. I can't assume the whole year with how bad they are. They're hey, you know what? Kirk really sucks. Let's just give our workhorse more carries.
They're going to kill him.
I don't know. A lot of people are – the way it's already gone, a lot of people died in this league. That's what I'm worried about too is the injuries going forward. I mean, it's week 2. There's more to come.
Yeah, absolutely. It's literally week 2, so there is a huge problem.
Which is actually really funny because the next game that we're going over, the first line you have under there is everyone is dead.
I mean, it's true. And spoiler alert, it's 49ers Giants, which we could probably just skip to. I think we're done here.
Well, so we're going to pick the Titans. That's it. We can leave. Good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, man. Yeah, I'm excited to see the Titans beat up on the Vikings. With that being said, and we talked about it opening up the podcast, 49ers at the Giants, 49ers -4 with an over-under 41.5. 49ers, their whole defense is completely depleted, half of it being because of MetLife Stadium, and they actually do have an investigation against the turf, so NFL is checking that out right now. But the 49ers, who got depleted by this field, is going to be playing again at this field this week against the very bad Giants, who are also beat up. If you have a 49ers defense, you could drop them after this. You could play them against Giants this week, and then that's it. Then you could drop them because everyone is dead. Jimmy Garoppolo hurt.
Yep.
Ankle sprain. Raheem Mostert knee. Coleman is on IR for 4 weeks. Wow. Yeah, dude. Jesus. I don't know, dude. I mean, what I will tell you is McKinnon.
Another
Not a
great
bad play.
comeback story, dude.
Yeah.
Great to see him coming back. And, dude, he's a high waiver priority guy as well.
Hey, did everybody else shred their knees? Cool. Let's play the guy that's been out for 2 years for shredding his knees.
Oh, my God. Well, I mean, 49ers have an unbelievably deep running back core as it is. And the guys that are hurt, even with that, you still have Jerick McKinnon and Jeff Wilson, who's been able to do stuff. He's bumping up off the practice squad. If you remember him, Don, he was the touchdown scoring machine of last year.
Yeah.
So they still, even on their practice squad, have better running backs than most teams.
Than most people do.
Yeah.
And they're going against the Giants.
Yeah. So I think I know you said you don't want to play the 49ers defense, but
no, I actually I'm sorry. After this week is what I meant.
I'm just saying they're a better run organization than 60% of the league out there. And I think they're just gonna go to this fucking game, get shit done, and try to get healthy after this. They're gonna fuck the Giants up. They're gonna run the ball a shit ton. This is definitely gonna hit the under, and Nick Mullins is gonna do what Nick Mullins did on his first start ever was against the Giants on Thursday night, and he beat the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
Was that 2 years ago?
2 years ago, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. When Jimmy G was out.
He was pretty good. Again, it was against the Giants, but hey, he's playing them again.
He's going against the Giants. So what I will say, though, Ben, and I know you said that, they're a well-run organization, and they are. But, one, you drafted 49ers as they were the number one defense going in, but they've lost arguably the best defensive player in the league, or top 5 easily, with Bosa. They're the whole defensive line. It's Solomon out, and then you got to talk about your best corners out too.
Yeah, Sherman's still gone.
Those are 3 very, 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 very impactful players on that defense. So after this week, dude, I definitely don't want anything to do with 49ers defense. I'm not saying that they're going to be the absolute worst plays, but you're probably going to get better value somewhere else, and you could start streaming or something. But 49ers defense is not someone I'm going to be playing every week anymore.
All right, yeah, good point. Fair enough.
But I'm very cool with McKinnon this week. I have McKinnon in a league that I'll probably put him in my flex.
Yeah, I would say he's pretty much as close as you can get to a must start. Obviously, depending on your situation, but I think you should try to get him in your lineup more often than not.
Yeah, I think he's a solid RB2 this week.
Yeah.
Cool. We didn't even hit wide receivers.
I don't think we can.
Okay, another person that's out. George Kittle is hurt.
He's getting limited though, so he might go.
Wow, this team is really beat up, dude.
Yeah, that'd be if Kittle plays, that's a huge boost. Honestly, because Ayuk can get out there, Kendrick Bourne is out there. I think Dante Pettis is still a person, but that's pretty much their starting lineup there, which is rough. It's rough as fuck.
That is really bad.
Jordan Reed had a fucking game though, so I think.
Dude, okay, yes, Jordan Reed actually, he could be someone that you could stream for now until George Kittle comes back.
Yeah, I just think Kittle's trending in the right direction, and he strikes me as a dude that wants to play badly. And if he's going to go in there and literally just block so McKinnon can roll this game, he's going to want to do that.
Yeah. So we're just playing McKinnon.
If Kittle goes, I'm playing him.
Well, yeah, he's always a must start. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But outside of that, just McKinnon.
Yeah. Got it. Let's go to Giants' big news. One, Saquon, everyone knows, torn ACL, done for the year. That's heartbreaking, being most likely the number 2 pick in almost every draft. With that being said, the one free man is back, Devontae Freeman. What do you think, man? What do you think about Don? So let's talk about – I don't think he was even averaging 4 yards a carry before he had left, his last season when he was playing. I don't even think he was averaging 4 yards a carry. He comes in. He hasn't worked with the Giants at all. I can't even imagine what type of production he would, or if he plays at all this week. With a terrible offensive line, even Saquon wasn't really getting anything done running-wise. It had to be in the receiving game. What is your expectations for Devontae Freeman?
I would be shocked if he gets 10 carries. I think Wayne Gallman's going to be the dude this game at least, but I think long-term, Devontae Freeman's probably going to be their dude for this season.
It's Wayne Gallman. Yeah, okay, yeah, and then it's Deion Lewis.
Fuck Deion Lewis.
No, I know. I'm just looking at the chart here. Sandro Platzgummer, what a name. Yeah, but I understand that he's going to be the dude, but, like, what does that entail, Vinny? What do you mean by that dude? Like, is he going to put fantasy production out?
Oh, no, not at all. No. He's going to get, like, a less than healthy share of the carries. I think him and Wayne Gallman are going to split, and then Deion Lewis is going to get thrown in for his dumb shit. I think they become a fucking mess. I think, like, by me saying he's their dude, he's going to be the guy that gets 16 carries instead of 10.
Yeah.
Eventually. But for this game, Wayne Gallman's probably going to step up just to get it done. They're going to get
there's no way you're
49ers.
going to get production out of Devontae Freeman this week. There's no way. They just signed him.
But long term, he could become I don't even know. Like, this team just sucks. Like, you
The
don't
team's
really.
bad.
Yeah, you don't want to play that dude.
The team's bad. If it was almost any other team where, like, they picked up Freeman because the running back got hurt, I'd be like, that's cool. Like, I could see good things out of him. I honestly don't know. And he's probably the top waiver target for most people this week.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he signed with the Giants over other teams, so maybe they promised him to be the starter. But like I said,
well, yeah, I mean, less competition.
yeah, starter.
Was that of what, the Eagles he was visiting, which he would easily be the backup to Miles Sanders.
Went to the Bills. Yeah, he's just like a depth sign for a lot of
right,
teams.
and there you got Zach Moss and Devin Singletary and the Bills. It makes sense to be with the Giants.
Yeah, he came here to be the starter, but like I said, entails you get 16 carries instead of the next closest. So
another person that could possibly die.
yes, also very injury prone dude. Hasn't played in a little bit,
and he's gonna get battered. Another very bad offensive line.
Yeah, even playing.
We skipped over Daniel Jones like intentionally because there's no reason to even talk about that guy. I hope he is okay through the whole season.
Dwayne Haskins is better than Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
they're both bad.
Wide receiver wise, another injury. Sterling Shepard. Yeah, it's Darius Slayton.
That's it.
Sterling Shepard is out. They put him on like the IR, but I think he's out at least 3 weeks is what they said, correct?
Yeah, it's like the baby IR.
Yeah, it's not the real IR. It's not season ending, but he's out for at least 3 weeks. And that leaves Darius Slayton, and then whatever with Golden Tate, man. It is what it is with him anymore. He's not anyone you're going to pick up or play. And then there's Evan Ingram, who is battered. Hasn't he had like injuries as well already?
He's been fine this season, but not fantasy wise. Like he's not.
Yeah. He's getting targets though. He gets 7 targets week 1 and 8 targets week 2. I'll roll him out again if I'm an Ingram owner. I won't give up on him just yet. He had a mediocre game last week. He had 65 yards, 6 caught out of 8 targets.
Yeah, I mean, if he falls into the end zone a game, he's pretty much got you the best tight end week you could hope for. So,
yeah, it's
keep rolling him.
Yeah, just not a high ceiling.
No, not what you wanted.
No, not what you were hoping for. You were hoping like this would be the Evan Ingram year, and
just won't.
Just not gonna get done. The Giants are bad.
This fucking team sucks.
Yeah, this game. I'm not really looking forward to watching.
14-0. 49ers.
Yeah, take the under on that one for sure. And I'll take the 49ers as well. Well, we're about to wrap up the very long Voncast here with the Texans at the Steelers, 4 under, over under 45. This will be a fun game to watch. Big Ben slinging. James Conner bounced back last week.
Look good.
After being hurt with that ankle week 1 and did good against a tough Denver defense that we were kind of weary of. So James Conner owners, you can feel relieved. Not in the sense of worrying about if he couldn't get injured again, but relieved to see him bounce back and actually have a really good second game. Because I was worried. I actually benched him for Naheem Hines. Really fucking cool idea done. That was smart. So James Conner's in, man. So Benny Snell didn't do anything. So once James Conner is actually in and healthy, he's the guy.
Benny Snell is actually like a handcuff I would like to own, though. When he steps in, he is the guy.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. I have James Conner in our main league, and he is someone I made sure to have as my handcuff and I drafted. So absolutely, because once Benny Snell does go in there, if James Conner's out, he does kind of pick up the pace and normally does put up a nice production. So if you do worry about James Conner going down, at least you have someone that's going to kind of fill that role almost as good.
Yeah.
So wide receiver wise, Juju is still a play every week. I think just like kind of like, well, I think he's going to have a better year than last year, obviously, but I think Juju is like, you have to have tempered expectations with him too. I think there's going to be weeks where you're going to have really nice weeks, and then there's going to be weeks where he has a good floor, but that's it. Like, it's not anything spectacular. So I think Juju Smith is always going to have a good floor for you. I think he always needs to be started, but he's not going to be consistently a week winner for you.
Yeah, very well put, Don. He's not, like exactly. He doesn't really pop off, but still 8 targets, caught 7 of them, low yardage, but whatever. I don't think he's going to kill you on weeks like this too much, but like you said, he also doesn't pop off too much either. So he's a very low wide receiver too all the time. Yeah,
agreed. What do you think about the rest of the receiving core?
Man, this is really tough to parse through. I think Deontay Johnson's like the number 2 just off of like targets, but fuck if Claypool isn't like talented as shit. Like he looks every time he gets the ball, it's like, okay, this guy could explode.
It's gonna go off. Yeah.
Yeah. But I definitely think that Deontay Johnson's probably the de facto number 2. Just target
you gotta
share.
stick to what you normally preach with tight ends is targets, and he's the one that's getting that target share for sure. So I agree with that. I think that is he's the clear-cut wide receiver too. Yeah. Tight end wise, I honestly not gonna lie, I did not even see if Eric Ebron had any type of production last week. I'm trying to pull this. He had 5 targets, caught 3 of them for 43 yards.
He's middle of the pack, but again, it's kind of like the Ingram situation. If he falls in the end zone, you're thinking other things. So at worst, if you're in a deeper league, like 12, 14 team, you're playing Ebron, you can do worse.
Yeah. Again, there's still guys out there that you pick up this week, Mike Gesicki, John O. Smith, guys like that.
Oh, yeah, this is like bottom of the fucking barrel. Yeah. Like this is – I'm in trouble.
In a 14-team league and everyone has 3 tight ends on their roster.
Ebron is fine. Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. That's enough with Pittsburgh, man. Texans have been – dude, we need to talk about the Texans.
We do. I think – fuck. Well, let's look at it this way.
You're a Deshaun Watson owner.
I am.
You've been a Deshaun Watson owner for a few years.
I have been.
What do you – go ahead, dude. Tell me what you think, man. It's –
I'm very foolishly still rolling him out here.
Well, I think you have to.
Yeah, I think he's one of the guys you can't sit. So it's the positives I'm looking at is last week Jeff Driscoll was able to throw on the fucking Steelers for most of the game that he was in. So is Deshaun Watson going to get sacked and beat up? Yes, of course. Their line is trash. Steelers' line is fantastic.
Very good.
But even in garbage time, I think Watson will get it done for you here. And it was kind of
Deshaun Watson. It's more gameplay scenarios and play calling, but Deshaun Watson is the man. He's someone that you can't sit. The biggest thing was, I'm a Will Fuller owner in our league, and week 1 was like, wow. Like, this is no joke. He had like 11 targets. He went off. You're like, okay, he's coming in. He's like going to be the DeAndre Hopkins of this team. He's a clear-cut number 1. He's going to get way more targets. And then he goes and puts up a goose egg.
Yeah, dude, he's not even on the stat sheet. He had no targets, no nothing.
And then I think 8 targets got distributed to Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks had a good
6 to
game.
Randall Cobb. Yeah.
Randall Cobb
do you think that's what it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be like –
No.
They have 2 streaky wide receivers. Brandon Cooks has always been that deep ball threat, streaky wide receiver that his name just goes farther than what his actual production's been every season. And Will Fuller was that streaky guy because of DeAndre Hopkins. do you think it's going to be like every other week? It's just there's going to be no consistency between either of them. It's just whoever Deshaun Watson is feeling that game.
Okay, I mean, that's worst case scenario, I think. I think it really should be what it boils down to is why are you throwing to Randall Cobb? I think that Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller should be the two focal points. And I think Randall Cobb should be third option on every single play. Like, you do not need to be making Randall Cobb your second. It's like getting Will Fuller zero targets in a game is just inexcusable. I don't even care how good the Ravens defense is. Like, throw that dude a screen. Get him involved somehow, but it's
to have nothing.
Exactly. It was very worrisome, but I think it's going to be this is like the worst. So I think still going forward, Will Fuller is definitely the dude. Brandon Cooks is the guy you don't want to play, but if you want to, this could possibly happen. And then everybody else, I'm not too concerned.
I feel like anybody that's drafted Brandon Cooks though it's their third wide receiver or flex.
And that's not a bad spot for him. Like, honestly, it's not. He's a wide receiver 3.
Yeah. But there's just a really low floor sometimes.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
But obviously, apparently, Will Fuller, too, because you can't go lower than 0. Well, I guess you can, but...
We're at the basement.
David Johnson looked really good week 1 against Kansas City. Had not a productive game. What I will say is we'll chalk it up to Baltimore. Baltimore's defense is good.
Yeah, not his fault. Not his fault. Still moving good. So that's...
Dude, he watching the Kansas City game, it wasn't just like he was playing bad defense against a bad defense or anything. It was like his moves and his cuts and his
great.
reads were sharp and looked really good. Now, I don't have high hopes for him against Pittsburgh this week. But then going forward, I think David Johnson's going to have a good season.
Yeah, I mean, let me look at the Texans' schedule going forward. I think
it's Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh this week. Then it's Minnesota, which he should eat.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, Tennessee, Green Bay. So he should have some pretty good games there. Bye. Then Jacksonville, Cleveland, New England, Detroit, Indy, Chicago, Indy. He's going to have a good season.
Yeah, it lightens up for the Texans, I think, because, dude, you start off with, like, Super Bowl champs Chiefs, then get absolutely massacred by they could have also competed for a Super Bowl if they didn't get stunned by the Titans.
Well, Baltimore is killing everybody. The first 2 games they killed the other team.
They're on a mission this season and they're just fucking teams up. So it's total rough spot. Like, bottom line, I think that the Texans pulled this game out in Pittsburgh. I think it's the toughest test for the Steelers, especially after playing really banged up Broncos and destroying the Giants. So I think
they kind of need to pull this one out.
No, yes, they do. This is, I don't want to say season on the line, but season on the line.
It's going to make an impression on their season.
Yeah, I mean, as long as positive or negatively, and that's it. As long as they show that they can beat a team with a good defense, that's going to fuck them up, and they hang in there and still pull this out. It's going to do wonders for the team, but it's going to be a tough task. But I think they do have it in them.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Last thing is there Darren Fells? Does that do anything for you or?
Nah,
right?
No.
I mean, we've been talking about probably the biggest focal point is our tight ends in this podcast. So, yeah, man, you seem a little bit more optimistic than Will Fuller. It's maybe because I'm depressed and I'm 0-2 in this league, and I had Will Fuller at Hives. No, I don't.
I actually have Will Fuller like nowhere. I just think that this was an anomaly.
I hope so. But you're making me feel better, and I was thinking about maybe I was in between sitting him or T.Y. this week, and maybe I'll just throw him over T.Y. this week. So, with that being said, let's pick him, dude.
Going Texans, like I said. I think they win.
I'm going to go Steelers.
Also fair.
Yeah.
They could fuck them up too.
Very fair. Yeah, their defense looks really good. Their offense is putting it together. So I like the Steelers, even with the -4. So with that being said, dude, we have gone way, way too long. And that is a wrap for Week 3 Preview 1. You will be listening to Walsh and I believe Shrek.
Yeah, I think so.
That will be recording this Friday. So you probably will be hearing that come out Saturday. So you will be listening to us by tomorrow, Thursday, and then you will listening to the second preview by Saturday. Shrek should be uploading that. With that being said, Vinny, do you have any last words before we go?
Don't panic. Have fun. Work the wire. I think I said the same shit last week, but yeah, just try not to kill yourself out there.
Vinny actually has this written right under where his laptop is, and he just reads off the same thing every podcast.
I have it carved into my wrist.
But yeah, no, I think that's a good thing to say, Vin. Don't panic. It is week 2. Start panicking once it's like week 3, week 4. I need to take that advice because week 2 is always my worst week. And I sit there and start getting all nervous and shit because I'm a rookie, apparently. So with that being said, he is Vinny Gonzalez, the beer stealer, and I am Don the D.O.N. It's true. I did say drink him. I'd rather you have him. So it's not true. He's not a stealer. I loaned him. I let him have it. He drank them. He enjoyed them. It's in his belly. My name is Don, the D.O.N. How you doing? Have a good one.
This has been Let's Talk Fantasy Football. Thanks for listening.